Well, we are here in Sharon at Rock Ridge Cemetery. We're here to find Deborah Sampson's grave. So come take a walk with me, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about who she was. So Deborah Sampson was the first woman to ever enlist in the United States military. She was technically the first woman to ever take a bullet for our country, but she did all this by pretending to be a man for almost 2 years. Here's her grave. Come. So you can see it says Deborah Sampson Gannett, and they have actually put the name of the person she pretended to be, which is Robert Shurtleff, the female soldier, service from 1781 to 1783. This is really cool to see and interesting that they included both names. We're going to go meet up with Stephen Conley now. He is a local historian and an expert on Deborah/Robert, and we're going to try and figure out why she did what she did. What first sparked your interest in Deborah Sampson?
Our post office was named after Deborah Sampson. It's Deborah Sampson Streets.
Yeah.
Everything's about her. Well, who was this lady? I just had to dig in and find out.
What Steve found was a young girl from Plimpton, forced into indentured servitude after her father abandoned her and her 6 siblings. When she wasn't secretly studying textbooks that belonged to her new brothers, she was learning how to do things that many women never got to do, like hunting, riding horses, and woodworking. All skills that would eventually help her enlist in George Washington's Continental Army under the alias Robert Shurtleff.
She wanted to be part of this. She really set her goals that she was going to help answer the call for her new nation. She would search up on the flanks of the impending battle and size things up and go back and tell the men, this is where we're going to attack and this is how we're going to do things.
But at Deborah's first skirmish in Tarrytown, she was shot in the thigh with a musket ball. And what she did next has earned her a notable spot in history and pop culture.
Deborah Sampson was the first woman to take a bullet for our country. And when she took a blast in battle to her leg, she was afraid to reveal her secret. So she took out a penknife, she dug out the musket ball, and she sewed herself back up again. That's grit.
That kind of bravery kept Deborah's secret safe for almost 2 years, until a fever put her in the hospital, and a Dr. Barnabas Binney would be in for quite a surprise.
This is a soldier in our elite light infantry, the best of the best.
Yeah.
It's a woman.
Can you imagine how shocked he must have been?
Oh my goodness, he was so shocked. He had to get her out of that hospital immediately.
Once nursed back to health, Deborah turned herself in, but the men were impressed with what she had done. There was no punishment, just an honorable discharge. And with a little help from Paul Revere, she became the first woman to receive a military pension.
All men are created equal, right? There were no mention of women, and yet she wanted to fight for this document.
A woman stood up for our country. She answered the call. She wasn't just going to be a nurse, she was going to be a soldier. What was so wrong with that?
Deborah would go on to have a full life after the war. She became a mom of 4, and in 1802, she began a year-long lecture tour about her experiences, the first woman in America to do so. Then the Deborah Sampson Act was passed in 2021. This established the Office of Women's Health at the Department of Veterans Affairs. It provides women veterans greater access to critical care and resources like counseling, childcare, and legal services. Breana Pitts, WBZ News.